Although there is a lot of hype in the crypto realm, the majority of people still have no idea what is actually going on. The recent registration of the iShares XRP ETF by BlackRock, which alone caused shockwaves to travel across the market, is the focus of everyone's attention. On the other hand, what if I told you that this is only the tip of the iceberg? What if I told you that the public ETF is only a distraction, a well-choreographed maneuver aimed to attract the attention of the masses, while something considerably greater and more crucial is happening behind the scenes? We would like to welcome you to the truth of Project Titan, a confidential internal endeavor at BlackRock that has been revealed and has the potential to alter the course of XRP's destiny forever. An internal letter that was leaked and is currently being circulated among the most prominent crypto analysts claims that BlackRock is covertly constructing a $100 billion institutional XRP liquidity fund. This fund is supposed to be hidden in plain sight and is intended solely for their most prestigious clients. This fund, which has been given the codename Project Titan, is apparently a vehicle for the deployment of multiple phases of capital for global banks, pension companies, and sovereign wealth funds. The document discusses the construction of a custody system for XRP that is totally segregated and of an institutional quality. This system is designed exclusively for enormous capital flows that will never include the public exchange-traded fund, ETF. Think at it this way, the exchange-traded fund is a distraction. You are not supposed to be aware of Project Titan, which is the major act of the show. The subject line of the paper, which is marked with BlackRock's corporate branding, reads Project Titan Institutional XRP Liquidity Fund. The document then goes on to explain a goal of $100 billion in digital asset custody for XRP alone. It makes reference to customized custody solutions that also include enhanced onboarding for institutions that meet the requirements and integration with Tier 1 banking partners. This is not some kind of informal cryptocurrency fund. Because XRP serves as the bridge asset, this infrastructure has been meticulously designed to facilitate the transfer of trillions of dollars across international borders. In addition, RippleNet and Liquidity Hub are mentioned in the memo, as well as a deployment for full activation scheduled for Q3-Q4 2026. At this point, it is no longer merely speculation, rather it is a strategy. Let's take a distance. How come BlackRock, the greatest asset manager in the world, would place such a significant wager on XRP? Their past is where you will find the answer. BlackRock has a long-standing habit of constructing multi-layered investment vehicles. Some of these vehicles include a public version that is strictly regulated for common investors, and another version that is significantly larger and more flexible for the company's elite clients. Through the utilization of this two-pronged method, they are able to preserve public transparency while privately allocating capital on a scale that the majority of people are unable to grasp. In the past, we have witnessed this phenomenon with gold exchange-traded funds, ETFs, in the past, with corporate bond programs, and now with digital assets. This is the point at when the story begins to diverge. It is likely that the typical retail investor will get aware of the iShares XRP ETF through the media, and it is possible that they will decide to invest in it. On the other hand, the actual capital, the wealth that has been passed down through generations, the allocations of sovereign funds, and the liquidity of multinational corporations are going to be poured into Project Titan in a stealthy and strategic manner well in advance of any public declaration. In reality, it is a story about two markets, one open and four. However, it is not merely another token. XRP is, in all honesty, the foundation upon which the next generation of global finance will be assembled. It provides quick settlement, fees that are low, and interoperability between digital currencies and fiat currencies, as you may already be aware. In contrast to Bitcoin, which is a slow and expensive cryptocurrency, or Ethereum, which is still struggling with difficulties related to scalability. Enterprise-ready, battle-tested, and engaged with regulators, XRP is ready for business. Because of Ripple's linkages to banking institutions throughout the world, XRP is in a position to become the foundation of international financial transactions. On the other hand, BlackRock is making rapid progress in order to acquire its portion of that backbone before anyone else. Cryptocurrency is gaining more and more attention from institutions. The story is undergoing a transition. What was once considered a category of assets on the periphery has now evolved into a strategic necessity. The future is the tokenization of real-world assets, programmable finance, and decentralized settlement layers, and XRP is strategically located in the middle of all of these developments. Because of this, BlackRock is not waiting for the approval of the general public. For this reason, Project Titan is being constructed concurrently with the ETF that is aimed at the general population. This is due to the fact that the real players do not wait for headlines, rather, they make them. Consider the numbers for a moment. If XRP were to be held in custody for $100 billion, it would signify a massive shift in the dynamics of supply and demand. The current market capitalization of XRP ranges anywhere from $25 billion to $50 billion, a $100 billion injection, particularly if it is combined with custody lockups and long T. Institutional strategies would result in a permanent repricing of the asset because it would not cause a spike, it would not cause a pump, and it would result in a complete structural shift. Instead of being driven by excitement, XRP may go from being worth less than $1 to being worth more than $1,000. In addition, this is not merely a hypothesis, it has been done in the past. Now let's take a look at gold after the introduction of institutional exchange-traded funds, ETFs. Take, for example, the meteoric rise in corporate bonds that occurred during the time that BlackRock funds were backed by quantitative easing. In the event that capital is transferred in large quantities, prices are not merely influenced, rather, they are fully rewritten. In all honesty, XRP is the next step. If P is... The catch is that the majority of people will fail to see it. Why? Because by the time Project Titan is made known to the general public, the vast majority of XRP will already have been distributed. As soon as CNBC begins covering institutional XRP flows, the market will have already swung in a different direction. The exchange-traded fund, ETF, will, of course, continue to exist. Nevertheless, at that time, it will be more effectively a museum piece than an opportunity. There will have been an adjustment made to the price. By this time, the actual action will have already taken place behind closed doors through off-market accumulations that are shrouded in non-disclosure agreements and settled through custodial partners that very few people have even thought of. And who stands to gain? As a matter of fact, it is always the same folks that do. Corporate treasuries, mega banks, and sovereign wealth funds are all good examples. Once again, the ordinary investor will be left with nothing but crumbs, unless, of course, they respond G it away. Because it is abundantly evident that the objective of this leak, if it is even real, is to provide those who are paying attention with just the right amount of warning before allowing a C. In order to comprehend the message, it is not necessary for you to believe every single aspect of Project Titan. When BlackRock says that they are preparing for the next generation of asset custody, you should take that statement very seriously. BlackRock does not file exchange-traded funds, ETFs, casually, and they do not go about moving billions of dollars without a plan, mainly due to the fact that such terms are concealing a realignment of global banking, and XRP is currently in the spotlight. BlackRock's chief executive officer, Larry Fink, is slated to deliver a speech at a private institutional conference the following week. What is the official subject matter? This is the future of digital settlement systems and global asset custody systems. Who is the unofficial subject? Almost certainly the Project Titan. It would not be the first time that BlackRock has utilized a keynote held behind closed doors to leave clues for those who are already in the know. It is not going to be the final one. The question now is, what does all of this mean for you, the retail investor, the early adopter, the crypto believer who has been clinging on through the noise? In any case, it indicates that your moment is drawing near, but only if you are able to recognize it. This exchange-traded fund, ETF, is not the finish line. Rather, it is the smoke signal. Only if you comprehend this, somewhere else is where the real accumulating is taking place. Now, the question is, are you going to front-run the institutions, or are you going to let them front-run you? In a world where narratives are twisted, insiders have access to financial systems, and financial systems are built for the elite. The only advantage you have is information. In today's episode, you were given a glance behind the scenes. It is up to you to decide what you will do with that glimpse. What you should know, however, is that the next time you see XRP soar out of nowhere, the next time volume triples overnight, and the next time people wonder what just occurred, it will not be because of the ETF. Because Project Titan became live, it will be because of that. I hereby defer. It is important to keep in mind that I am not a recognized financial advisor. The content that is displayed in these videos is solely intended for the purpose of providing amusement. Before making any decisions regarding their finances, I always recommend viewers to do their own study and seek the advice of professionals. Many thanks for taking the time to listen. I would appreciate it if you could give the video a thumbs up and make sure to hit the subscribe button if you found it entertaining. Additionally, guarantee that you activate the notifications so that you are the first to